access to resources are all very key for people getting out of poverty. And most, always, that includes, as Monica noted, an employment aspect to it. And often it also includes an educational aspect, depending on where people are at. So I would do that in the context, I mean, if I were starting from scratch, that's not what I would do. But we have some very good services in our community in different specialty areas. And I think this kind of approach is our best way to proceed with this.
Michelle?
Okay, you know, I think that, number one, I don't think the ending of poverty is going to be solved by money alone. I think it's a belief system that we as a country have to have individually and collectively. And I think there was a woman over here somewhere that said, you know, I'm not even sure if we asked everyone in the room the correct direction we should go, we would find agreement necessarily, because some things bothered people differently, right? So I think coming together like Sweden, perhaps, Scott, you know, I think that there is a piece of that we're a bit rogue, perhaps, going back to our Patriot days, maybe. I also know that I really agree with Scott's comment about the mothers and what goes on in the home. I'm now, we're receiving some grant money because of the 0.1% sales tax for the mental health support in the schools, and they're going to allocate it to us as a school system at the elementary level based on the percentage of 6th graders who have suicidal ideation. That's, I hope, a bit disturbing to us. And I think that what Scott said about healthy families have fewer children that contemplate suicide, I think. And so I think money for education is important, no question. You can do more when you know more. And so, you know, I think if I had $1 million, it would be a focus on families and definitely education.
And Kirsten, you have the final word.
So I have 3 quick ideas, and I could talk about this all day. I'm excited to get to talk about it with my people. I would definitely focus a lot of money on prevention, because whatever we can do to identify folks who are living on the edge and are likely to have financial challenges in the future that will push them over the edge, whatever we can do to identify these folks and get them a little bit of prevention is worth our time. The second thing I would do is work on a coordinated system of care so that when you have a family that is poor or homeless, that they are having some coordination between their healthcare provider, their housing support, their employment, because what we have is these silos. We have a lot of really good systems in place in Kitsap, but there's sometimes not very good cross-communication between them. And I would love to see a way that we have these sort of teams of people working together around a family to really support them. The last idea I had is that, you know, I really do believe we have a very good social safety net in this community. I have the privilege of working with a lot of really fantastic organizations and individuals. And I think what often brings households to, there's a lot of households living in poverty that never get to the crisis point. And I think about what's the difference between being poor and then something, small thing, catapulting you into a crisis where it all spirals down and you can't climb back out of that hole. And I think about the fact that probably most of us in this room have a personal safety net. We have family and we have friends that would help us and take care of us and help us with getting through a crisis. And I think for a lot of the families that find themselves in crisis, for whatever reason, they don't have a personal safety net to catch them, or maybe they've already frayed that net too much, or maybe they've come from out of town. I don't know why, but it seems like if we could work on helping cultivate these personal safety nets for people, maybe through a mentoring program, as you mentioned. I know One Church, One Family has some really great programs, family-to-family connection, and if there's a way that we could expand that so that it's not just about the money, it's about the relationships and the personal connections you have. And asking for help from your friends or your associates is really different than than asking or receiving help from the government. And I think that we might have a lot of great success if we can marry that idea of developing personal relationships with the idea of getting that temporary help to get you through the crisis. Thank you.
Yeah, Cole, can I just comment? It sounded, when I read the question, I thought $1 million, your goal was to say, wow, we have all this money, and I wanted to point out, you know, that's 1% of the budget I manage.
Yeah.
1%
Yeah,
of
it's
our
not
school
a
district
lot of
budget.
money.
It's not, and so I think the other part that we don't probably realize is that what it would take just financially to do what we're talking about can't rely on just financially, because I don't think it exists with all the pieces that, all the parts that need to carve the pie up. So it has to be about relationships. It has to be us personally, so.
So I don't know about all of you, but I have deeply appreciated the honesty and thoughtfulness of these folks here. Thank you. We are free to go.